Good evening. Glad to have you here with us this evening at our meeting. And we're going to start with welcoming you here. Glad you took time out of your daily schedule to come. We have an invocation by Mr. William Thompson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. Being engaged and involved is critical to the continued success of this district, so I want you to know how grateful we are that you're here. I want to take a moment to ask that you please keep the family of Melissa Jones in your prayers. Melissa Jones was a beloved bus driver. I'm sorry. Is that better? Is that better? Sorry. I wanted to take a moment to ask you to keep the family of Melissa Jones in your prayers. Melissa Jones was a beloved member of the ASD5 family and was a bus driver. And I'd like to start, if we could, with a moment of silence to honor her memory. Thank you. If you would like, please stand and join me in the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father,
Which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
now for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have two board minutes, one from August the 19th, which is the A, 2025 board minute meetings, B, September the 16th, 2025 board meeting minutes, C, policies, policy BEA, live streaming of board meetings, second reading, B, policy GCLE, encumbered time, second reading, policy KF, community use of school facilities, first reading. D, 2026-2027 draft modified school calendar, second reading, local board approved courses. F is SCSBA delegate assembly voting delegate certificate form, and G, sale of property. 102 North Main Street, Anderson, South Carolina, 29621. Will you have had time to read your both meeting minutes? August the 19th, 2025 minutes, we have a chance to read them. Do you have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of August the 19th, 2025?
So moved.
Do we need to
We
approve
need
the
to do the
agenda?
agenda first. Yes, we
Approve the
do.
agenda first.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to get out of here, okay? Approval of the agenda. You have had time to read the agenda, and I read some of it. So, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So it has been approved in second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? The motion is carried. Okay, now we'll get to those minutes. I have a motion to approve the minutes of August the 19th, 2025.
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have the motion second, and any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, now we have the minutes of September the 16th, 2025, board meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve those minutes for September 16th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have the motions and their second. Is any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, now we're down to C, policies. Policy BEA, live streaming of board meetings, second reading.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion we approve the second reading of BEA live streaming of board meetings as required by the state of South Carolina.
Second.
Okay, it's been second. Any discussion?
Just want to make sure no additions, everything's good? All right.
All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay, policy GCLE, encumbered time, second reading.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion we accept policy GCLE, unencumbered time, second reading as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been second. We have a motion. It's been second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Policy KF, community use of school facilities, first reading.
The policy KF, community use of school facilities.
I'll second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion?
And we have
We
to
need
read
to-
it, we
yeah.
have to read it,
Yeah, we need to get a,
reading of it.
I
We
can,
have,
we
yeah,
have-
you want me to do that?
oh,
Great.
yes, absolutely.
All right, so if you'll look at the policy, the changes to policy KF are as follows. If you'll look at the second page of the policy, we're updating the language in the first paragraph under fee structure to state sufficient to cover required support staff instead of replacing sufficient to cover custodial and food service expenses. This additional support staff beyond custodial and food service may be necessary, such as IT, which is our information technology assistant. So that's one change for the policy. If you go to the administrative rule, which is following that policy, ARKFR, use of school facilities, the changes to this rule are as follows. The second bulleted item on the second page of the rule are added to provide additional clarity of the procedures used in Anderson 5. A school custodian and/or a designated staff member is required to be on duty during the use of any school facility. This has been added, unless the qualifying entity is applying for external property use and it's deemed necessary. Additionally, the last sentence in that paragraph, the addition of support staff would be added and the removal of custodian. So support staff would take the custodian's place there.
Now, did I mishear? Can you read that again?
Sure. So it is, if you look at the second bullet on the second page of the ruling, it says a school custodian and/or a designated staff member is required to be on duty during the use of any school facility. This is the part that we've added that was not currently in our ruling. Unless the qualifying entity is applying for external property use and it's deemed unnecessary. The occasional unavailability of support staff would replace the word custodian, may be grounds to deny use of a facility on a specific date or time.
Thank you.
If you look at the first sentence in the first paragraph under fee structure, it will state a schedule fee will be set up to, this is where we're adding some additional language, to sufficiently cover required support staff expenses. And it's taking out sufficient to cover custodial and food service expenses. So again, support staff is taking the place of custodial and food service because you also might need technology assistance, okay? And then, if you look on the last page of the rule, you will look at the second bulleted item on the last page. We will replace custodial service with support staff. Again, just having that common language throughout the policy and the rule. And then the third bulleted item on your packet is what we would add to the rule. So this is currently not in the rule, but we would add it to it. And it says, up to 10% of a school's available classrooms, the media center, and the cafeteria will be made available at no charge to qualifying entities if the use in no way disrupts the instructional program, occurs after the school day ends, concludes 1 hour before the support staff ends their workday, and requires no special support staff. These facility use applications will be considered on a first-come, first-served basis, beginning the first day of July of the planned fiscal year of use. Again, that third bullet is all brand new. That is not currently in our rule. And those, one other change, if you look at, if you flip through, you'll see on the actual school district application, those items, we added on the application, the external area requiring no support staff. So when someone's filling out that application, they can check that piece if they're wanting to use that. We added that. Also, on the rules and regulations for use of school properties, you'll notice at number 13, insurance, what we've added, it says the rentee will be required to provide insurance. And it's taking the place of special fundraising events may, at the discretion of the superintendent, require insurance. But we're going to say it will require
What's
insurance.
the level of insurance?
$1 million. Yes, sir. And those are the suggested changes. And you'll see those changes also on the AIT application that's in the back of that packet. But those are the suggested changes for the policy and for the rule.
One question, in regards to the 10% of the
Yes.
school, do we know what percentage is in use to date?
It's different for each school. We wanted to ensure that all classrooms being utilized by classroom teachers, speech pathologists, PT, OT, those are not available even after school because lots of our teachers, due to their dedication, they spend long hours at our buildings. And so it's different at each school.
Okay.
One school might be completely full, whereas other schools might not be. So that availability would be based upon vacant rooms, including the media center and the lunchroom and the library, things like that.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, I'm looking at a printed copy of the rule, and I see the red 1118 of 25 under the adopted.
Yes, sir.
What was adopted on 1118?
No, that's just the proposed. So this is the first reading in the month of October. Next month in November, if you approve this through second reading, that would be the date of the adoption.
Gotcha. Thank
Yes,
you.
Question on the rule regarding the first come, first serve and July the 1st. How will our organizations that are already using our buildings or any other organization be notified about this?
I'll let Mr. Grant speak to that.
Well, we can certainly communicate, Mr. Dukes, with the rentees that are using our buildings now, so that they know that.
That'd be helpful.
It's typically the same ones each year, so
Mhm.
we'll make sure they're.
I'd like for them to know ahead of time, make sure they don't miss out on it, somebody, okay.
That would be an electronic application and date stamped and all that for the first come, first serve, correct? Okay, terrific.
And just for the record, the school board's attorney has reviewed this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. That's all I have. Yes.
Madam Chair, since we actually got a motion before the reading, do we need to do that again? Ms. Bursch?
No, I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I make the motion to, for policy KF, community use of school facilities approved for the first reading.
I'll second.
Okay, we've had a second, we had a motion and a second. Any discussion? Or was that the discussion? Okay,
One thing I want to clarify, Madam Chair, is we're voting on policy KF because the rule does not require a vote. So actually, the rule, everything in red, if we pass the policy, will be attached to that. So that will be basically a done deal. So that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Dukes.
I just want to commend group for doing this. I think it's a great addition to the policy.
And I agree. It's
Agree.
long overdue. I think it's, we hate charging
Yes,
some of
thank
these
you.
folks for helping our students.
And I want to thank publicly Mr. Wes Grant. He has worked diligently hours on this with legal counsel to ensure that we are within our parameters legally, but also to serve the community the best we could.
Thank you.
So-
Wes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr.
thank you
Grant.
to Wes and Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Wes.
So we have a motion and a second.
Yes. And discussion.
We had a discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? So the motion passes.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was KF.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we're down to 2026-2027 draft modified school calendar, second reading.
Madam Chair, I'm,
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I was gonna talk about the additions we made. So you'll look at the calendar you have in front of you. The calendar you received last month, there's been 4 changes, but they're all about inclement weather. The calendar you received last month, we had not designated February 15th or May 26th, May 27th, or May 28th as inclement weather days. But to ensure that we're aligning with Anderson 3 and Anderson 4's calendar, since students from Anderson 3, Anderson 4, and Anderson 5 attend AIT, we wanted to keep that consistent with all 3 of those districts. And so highlighting those days as inclement weather days keeps us consistent with Anderson 3 and Anderson 4. So those are the changes that were made from the first draft of the calendar.
The days in May.
The days, May 26th,
Okay.
May 27th, May 28th, and February 15th.
12.
Thanks.
12.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve this on second reading.
Second.
So we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the calendar modified for 26-27, raise your hand.
Clicking back.
8.
Huh?
Yes, 8.
All in favor.
All unanimous.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous.
Madam Chair, well,
Yeah, that's,
we overlooked the opportunity for citizens to address the board.
Oh, I didn't have any, so I
Oh,
just
okay,
didn't say
okay.
it. I'm sorry.
Okay, my apologies.
Okay, that's okay, thank you. Local board approved courses.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair, the local board approved courses were listed in your packet, and these courses are offered to assist students with credentials or pathways as elective courses. With your approval, these courses will be included in the 2026-2027 high school course catalog, which is used at all individual graduation plan meetings. So we have Miss Mary Nell Anthony here tonight. She is our Executive Director of Secondary Services, and she can answer any questions you might have about these local board approved courses that we want to offer our children during the 26-27 school year.
When we approve these local board approved, or these board approved courses, are we simultaneously approving the textbooks and such that go with them?
Well, she's going to talk about the curriculum tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Kelly, board members. I appreciate being here with y'all tonight. Each year we have a meeting for the course catalog in order to review things that teachers have requested, school leadership has requested. And so last year, we did not have any local board approved courses at this time, but this year they had quite a few, as you see on the agenda. So the first one is the multilingual learner advancing proficiency course. This course is meant to help our long-term ML students. And so if you've seen the subgroups on the report card, and their progress that is made, our goal is to get them to a 4.4 English proficiency. And so when they have been in our school system for 5 years or more and they still are not there, we wanted to have a class that specifically targeted assistance for them and helped us get them to English proficiency. And so that is that very first course. These would be taught by our ML teachers. So to speak to the curriculum, it would be based on access test prep. It would be based on content curriculum that they're already using. It would just be more intensive work with those students. The second one is weightlifting. This is simply a result of the fact that right now we are using a state course code of PE 2 through 4. And what we learned, the state is cleaning up course codes as a whole. They are doing that because, I don't know if y'all have heard about Palmetto Pathways, but that is a new system meant to help our guidance counselors that is being instituted, and so it reads the state transcripts, and it helps the guidance counselors not have to go through them line by line themselves. And so it's a huge efficiency piece for the counselors, but it means that all of the course codes have to be aligned with the state. And so currently we're using PE 2, 3, and 4, and we need to switch to a local board approved 1 through 8 for our athletes. So no change other than the name and the code being used. The third one is as a result of the same thing. Right now, creative writing, the state-approved creative writing course that they published this year is only good for half a unit of credit, which we find really ironic. Schools throughout the state are teaching it as a 1-unit course, which is what A5 is currently doing. And so the solution is to implement the state 0.5 and then add another 0.5 course to pair with it. And so that is what the purpose of this is for. And so that curriculum there again, it is no change as an English teacher teaching creative writing. We are just breaking it into 2 half units instead of 1 full unit. Student leadership is a new course that was requested. This is commonly adopted in many school districts so that our student leaders, such as those of student council and data club, can hone and refine their leadership skills. It also gives them time built in within the school day to work on those school community initiatives. And so it is meant to just scaffold those leadership skills in speaking and presenting and leading, best practices for team collaboration. And so this would be a course that could be taught by any teacher, but it would probably be a teacher who also is a club leader who is the teacher of that course. Do you have any questions about that one?
And the curriculum already exists, or is it being designed, or has to be designed?
The curriculum needs to be designed for this one. And there again, there's several other districts that are doing this, and it would be based on best practice of leadership skills. America's Defining Conflicts, we were really interested when we received this request because it's really a military history course. And so this is really developed for those who really love social studies, who need an academic elective in social studies. It's going to emphasize America's role in major conflicts. And so Mr. Benson, who is already a U.S. history teacher, is who proposed this class. And he is working with, I've got some notes on that. He plans to utilize selected resources from the Library of Congress, the Story of America, which is a state-provided U.S. history resource, and establish institutional websites for that curriculum. He does have a copy of the draft of Unit 1 plan. He did not do the whole course, but he did draft us a Unit 1 in case y'all had any questions. If y'all would like a copy, I have copies here that I can give you.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There again, this is a draft. He does not have every single bell ringer
Thank you.
in there, but other than that, I think it was pretty comprehensive for a draft, in my humble opinion. And so he plans to go through the American Revolution, conflicts of the early republic, the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, Custer's Last Stand and Little Bighorn, the Wounded Knee Massacre, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II and the Cold War conflicts in this course. Here again, this is for those students who either are so into U.S. history that they want to take it as a precursor, or they can take it after having had the U.S. history course. This is a U.S. history, social studies elective, so it does not take the place of the core social studies requirements, like world history or your AP courses, U.S. history, GovEcon. It doesn't replace any of that. It is an add-on. Do y'all have any questions about that one?
It would just be at Tijuana.
No, they are offering it for both schools, but it will be based upon student interest, obviously.
Thank you.
So if the course doesn't have a minimum number of, I think we said 15, is that right? For any of our classes, we want to make sure that we have utilizing our teaching staff to the best of their ability. So if it doesn't have at least 15, it just won't make. The next courses are broadcasting 1 through 8. And y'all, what we're doing right now is we are offering at Tijuana journalism 1 through 8. And then at Westside, we are offering newspaper 1 through 8. But when we did a little bit closer review of what are they actually teaching in the course, what they were teaching in that course in a practical level was broadcasting skills with the video material, with creating broadcasts for the school campus, with doing those football productions that if you've been to a football game, you see on the big screens. That is what they were actually doing. And so we just felt that it should, the course name would best be aligned to the class. And so there again, nothing really changing other than the name and the course code. We're just wanting it to actually do what, like, describe what it says it's doing. That was our goal there.
It's always refreshing to me to sit up there on Friday nights to see the students that do all this. And it's very interesting to watch them.
Yes, I'm always fascinated by the drones
Yeah.
that they are using and how much they're learning from using the drone videos, because that is such a current skill
Yeah.
that's being used by real estate, it's being used by construction, just so many different places.
Years ago, we
that
thought
they
they were a
can
toy,
take
now they're a business tool.
Exactly. So the next
Well, you
course-
teaching both of these classes at both schools?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So one, the newspaper, the class been offered as newspaper.
Yes, ma'am. So newspaper will go away. They'll still have journalism 1 at both high schools, but then they'll have broadcasting 1, and then students can do broadcasting 2 through 8 by either taking journalism or broadcasting 1.
This is something just pertaining to this. And I don't know if it's feasible. I know everything's social media and all that now, but I remember when I was in high school, and even back when Ross was playing, you loved getting the paper on Saturday morning to see the stats. It would be nice if some of our students could publish the stats for those to see, and kind of like old, you know, you don't get a newspaper anymore, but it'd be neat to see, because I mean, I've still got newspapers when Ross played, but I think it'd be neat for everybody to see statistics, because it's always a big deal in the Anderson paper years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I will share that the journalism class that is at Westside High School, I don't know if they include staff, but Ms. Brown is publishing a school newspaper through that journalism class. That is
Okay.
an actual published
Good.
paper. And I don't know what all it includes. I haven't seen the first edition yet, but she's been working with her students to do that during first quarter so that it'll be ready for second quarter
Right.
publishing.
So do we still have people that call in the scores to the, what's left of the Anderson Independent?
No, they call the radio show for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
you know, there's a big thing,
they do most of it now is on the local news media.
Yeah.
They have people there.
there's a section in the Monday newspaper that tells the Friday game scores. And I never see Westside or Tijuana listed in that, and I just didn't know if we were, maybe I'm missing it in my old age or something,
I'll
but,
check on that and let you know.
You're missing it in your old age. I'm the same age as him, so I can say that.
I didn't know anybody still there.
So the next 2 courses are, they were designed in conjunction with Dr. Laura O'Laughlin, our executive director of special ed. The first first one is work-based learning 1 through 4. Now, this is a course specifically designed for the students who are receiving the South Carolina High School credential instead of the traditional South Carolina High School diploma. And so basically, when the state realigned its course codes, they provided 4. They provided employability education 1 through 4. They did not provide a second set of 4. And as you know, we are on a 4x4 block schedule, which means that our students have 8 semesters. And so because of that, in-house, we would have this work-based learning course, 1 through 4 for those students in particular. This course description would actually, if you pick up, you'll get a copy of our course catalog. You will not see it inside there because it is a course just for these students. So it is one that is only provided for them, and it is seen by the guidance counselors, and they go over it with those parents. That if you, once you receive your copy, if you're gonna wait, I approve this and it's not there, that's fine.
What you mean, what do you mean by these students?
The work-based, the school, South Carolina High School credential students.
So,
So those are special education
Special needs,
students
special education.
who,
Okay.
are not earning a traditional high school diploma.
oh,
and
okay,
are earning
special
the-
needs. I didn't know if it was for the children that didn't come to school all the time or whatever.
Oh, no, ma'am, no.
Okay.
So, the next one is peer mentoring, 1 through 8. This again is Dr. O'Loughlin, wanted to include this, and she presented it to the course catalog committee and the school leadership at each school. But y'all have already approved the adaptive art mentors and the PE mentors, right?
Yes.
This is the same thing, only it is for academic courses. So for example, there again, these students that are in the special needs classes, if they are getting a South Carolina employability credential, they are required to still take the English 2 end of course exam and the biology end of course exam. So these will be peer leaders who want to go into a career in education or be a social worker or do something with special needs community, who are trained to assist these students in those courses and with that coursework, very similar to the PE and the art. It would just be for an academic purpose.
That's outstanding.
The last on the list in your packet that you got, these are actually already approved in the state course catalog. You are not voting on these tonight. They are there for your information. We felt that as board members, you just needed to be in the know of what we are offering in the high schools. And these are courses that are already in the state approved list of classes, in their course catalog, basically, that our teachers and our leadership asked us to add to our high schools. And so it is just basically an FYI that, that we're now going to be offering this as well.
Thank you for your information.
The question about whether we are approving the curriculum or the textbooks simultaneously?
No, sir. So
Okay.
you're approving the course, and then if they need a textbook, we would have to bring that back to you.
Thank you,
Some of these, like broadcasting, they don't use a traditional textbook.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information. Does
Thank you.
anybody have any discussions on it? Because we are not, this is something from the state that I understood.
No, we need a motion.
Yeah.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll make a, excuse me, I'll make a motion that we approve the local board-approved courses to be offered for 2026-27. That's on the first 3 pages.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of, what is it? Local approved courses.
Mhm.
So that's
8.
unanimous.
Mhm.
South Carolina, School Board of Education delegate Assembly voting delegates for certification form.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, at the South Carolina School Board Association Legislative and Advocacy Conference, Anderson School District 5 has allocated 4 delegates to vote on the behalf of our district. We're going to ask Mr. Newt to come forward to provide more information about that.
That's the vast majority of the information. The annual meeting, Anderson 5 gets 4 votes. I believe we're sending 4 people down there. One person can carry all 4 votes, or 4 individuals can carry the 4 votes. At the end of the day, though, Anderson 5 is allotted 4 votes. You can also sign up as an alternate. That allows you to attend the business meeting as well. That's when the School Board Association makes recommendations for their coming year, selects their leadership, and runs the statewide organization of SCSBA.
Yeah, I think we discussed that you was gonna
Yeah, and I
do
believe
that.
we also got an email today from SCSBA on if you want to make any addition. We learned this over the years. If you want to, if things in there lobbying for, if you want something added, you need to add it now, not the day of the meeting.
The meeting is Saturday, December the 6th.
Yeah.
Yes. So all we're looking for today is anywhere between 1 and 4 names of those attending who want to be there. And I'll just have to ratify that.
I'm going.
I planned to go, but we were gonna use you as those votes.
Okay.
From Mr. Bradshaw and
Mr. Bradshaw, Mr. Price, we'll list y'all as voting delegates.
You want to sit and listen to Melvin? The guy that's there, I believe he's an attorney. And I've learned that from one of the former John Griffith being an attorney. The little I's and T's you dot and cross and the little details of law, and it made sense because he said if you don't do it correctly, then it bites you in the rear end. So they do, a lot of work goes into it.
We've always in the past, if someone got sick or wasn't able to attend at the meeting, one person can vote all 4 votes.
Yeah, so everybody we put down, we'll list you as a delegate, we'll also put you down as an alternate.
Okay.
Just in case, one person's down.
Do we know the date of that?
December 6th.
Yeah,
So
Saturday, December
Okay.
6th, 2 p.m.
Thank you.
That's that meeting, but we go on Friday, right?
you're going Friday. But this is after all the other stuff, the very afternoon portion. of
Okay.
it. It's usually about 2 to 4 usually.
We've never taken action on it before, but this year we listed under action items.
Okay.
Maybe
Official, we'll
somebody
certify
make
and
a motion
just
for
let
me.
it sign.
Make a motion for me.
Thank you, Carl.
Do we need a motion? for
Yes,
that?
yeah.
I'll make a motion. We present the delegates as those that have volunteered to do it for the legislative conference in December.
Those
Second.
are yourself and Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they are the 2.
Okay.
Okay, we had the motion and the second. Is there any discussion of that? The 3 of us are going, I guess.
Mhm.
That's all. Okay.
Mr. K attended?
he is attending. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay. Sale of property, 102 North Main Street, Anderson, South Carolina, 29621. G.
Madam Chair, the action item concerning the sale of the property at 102 North Main Street, Anderson, South Carolina 29621 was added at the request of board members, so I will defer to you for the discussion of this item.
Not board members, board member, not me.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've requested that as well.
okay, well, you may do your discussion on it.
Okay. Some of my constituents have been upset about the district spending $7 million on the downtown building. They feel it was extravagant and wasteful spending. With the cost of living as high as it is, many of our students' families, both parents work full-time. So I feel like we as a board need to show we are good stewards of the taxpayers' money.
You won't get that far.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I have a motion to make, but it's very specific, so I printed a copy out for everyone. I'm gonna pass that down before I make it. And I don't know if that would then enable the discussion, or if y'all could give me some input. Do you think something like this just gets discussed without a motion? like that, like
I-
we're doing, or?
Mr. Thompson, I think it's more of a
Discussion
discussion
item.
item, because this is not a quick decision to make. I think we need to have some detailed discussion, maybe even our workshop,
Within a motion, well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a motion, so I'm gonna pass this down so that y'all have it in front of you when I get the opportunity to, sorry to interrupt the discussion.
Just for clarification, 102 North Main Street is the downtown district office. I don't know if that was said, but
I think,
For you two.
you may as well rip this up. It
uh,
won't be for that.
I mean, to
It's-
me,
it's-
I'm gonna make a motion. That's
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to list for sale 102 North Main Street, which is TMS 123-300-3016 on the AC Pass. Owner before January 31st, 2026 for a period of 180 days at a price equal to or greater than $5 million, and with the stipulation that any and all offers to purchase said property are presented to the Board of Trustees of Anderson School District 5 for consideration.
A second it.
And I'll just say real quick, I'm not married to any of the specifics, but I think that it's important that we as a board offer clear direction to the administration, because I think we've discussed this some, and there may have been a discussion about an appraisal, but it sort of petered out. So that's the reason for the specifics. I'm not married to any of those, but I think we need to provide clear direction.
Well, first of
to
all,
the
we've got to have
administration.
somewhere for people to go. I mean, we don't have any in your office space. Your 5 million is it's not gonna bring that. I mean, I've checked with, one of our commercial real estate brokers today, and he says 1.5 to 2.5 tops. When you build buildings like that, we're not in the business of building buildings to sell them for profit, we're in building to use. If we naturally, hindsight's 20/20, had we known we were gonna secure the property next door to us, that was 5 years ago, that would've been a no-brainer, but, I think, Paul, you said your church is building a building now, it's about $14 million. So we would have to come up with some money to build a new building, and when we built this, we had proposed, the main reason was, and Rick, y'all can correct, we had over $4 million set aside to build a building for transportation. And then we decided to do this and move the tree, because they were in dilapidated buildings out back. It was kind of an urgent need to get them out of those buildings, in my opinion, were close to being condemned. And I'm not married to the building by any means, Mr. Thompson, trust me, I'm not. I know you're not gonna get that for it. I mean, it's not, and it's no different. People say it's foolish. Well, it's no different if we spent $80 million on new mechanics and turn around and put it up for sale, you wouldn't get $80 million for it. We build buildings to long-term serve the school district for years to come. I mean, we're looking at one now that's built in 1919, we're still using it, so, I'm, whatever the majority of the board wants to do, but I just feel like we need to make some long-range plans of what we're gonna do if we do sell it, because we've got quite a few people to relocate, and we have nowhere to put them, that I know of.
well,
so we've got a motion, we don't have a second yet, do we?
no, we
Yeah,
just
second.
Oh, you did,
discussed.
sir? Okay, good,
This
so
is
we're in
the first
discussion,
second.
basically.
Yep.
We're still in discussion. Well, the words that you was using about married and unmarried, I'm married to it. Because I don't see doing anything with that. I think I had one time to put down, and I think that's for the 30th that we're going to discuss. We need to do something for our bus drivers. And after we have this land, then we need to start working on that. That's just my opinion. But I would rather start working on that for them than to do anything about that building downtown. Because to me, it's nice, and I like to have my bus people in a nice place. And I think that's what we need to start working on. If we're already working on mechanics and some other things that we're working on, I'd rather add bus people to that when they get off that bus, they're not going in a underground hole. I mean, so they'll have somewhere that they can go and be nice, and it's nice.
And I would agree with Madam Chair. I think there's money more wisely spent on other things. Downtown property is just not real attractive. If you look at the And we were courted, Mr. Bradshaw was the chairman then, the city and county have courted us for years to build downtown.
Okay.
They're trying to get white collar jobs downtown. You look at Chicola Hotel. My dad died at 82 years old, and just before that, I asked him, how long has it been empty? As long as I've been around. Every developer that tried to go do something with it went bankrupt. You know who owns it now, Anderson University. And as a downtown business owner, I like to see downtown buildings not be dilapidated, tearing some down. And I think it looks better tearing them down. Same with this. We looked at several other locations, and this one kind of fell in our lap. Unfortunately, we started during COVID when construction costs skyrocketed, but you're kind of stuck. But it will never, as we told the city and the county, it'll never be a dilapidated building downtown. It's in a prominent location. Everybody knows my gripe. I don't like the Anderson Public Schools zone. I think it needs to say School District 5 anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But I just think if we're going to do anything, it's going to cost. We've got more pressing issues to worry about as far as two middle schools than a downtown building that's going, and we don't have so much money to work with, and we don't want to have to do any kind of, even start a bond referendum. If we do that, we're looking at probably 10 years out, I'd say at least. So just my take on it, and I'm one of 9.
If, say we put it up for sale for the 5 million and then for 180 days and nobody buys it, then it just stays as it is?
What are you going to do when you sell it? If it does
I
sell,
mean,
where are you going to put everybody?
I don't know, I mean, but you said it wasn't gonna bring 5
No,
million.
I mean,
If
it
don't
won't-
bring 5 million,
No, it won't bring 5
then it
million.
wouldn't really hurt anything, just put it up for sale, just for the, run it for the 180 days and then,
But you always have to say, what happens if it does?
Yeah.
Where will our people go in 90 days of due diligence, or even 180 days? You know, what do we do? The city is spending right at $6 million on Caters Lake. Do you think we could sell it for $6 million?
I would hope so, and we could get it,
I would too.
we could get it appraised.
What it's worth and what it brings is two different things.
I mean, that is a beautiful
Appraisal-
building. It's-
Appraisals don't mean anything. It's what it sells for.
Well, going back to, if it was so, let's just say hypothetically, this building here that we're in was renovated, mid-90s? And I think at that time, all the staff went out into the schools. I know it was not comfortable for a year when it was renovated. I know North Point had some rooms. How much room do we have at North Point currently upstairs?
We have some vacant rooms, but I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got roughly 20 folks down there, correct? Okay. And the move, the relocation occurred, in 2022. I was here, and there's some things that, we're talking about real estate. That is not my area of expertise, money, and that sort of thing. But in terms of what it's like, in terms of the organizational structure and some perceptions there, I'd like to share some things. And I'd like to thank the folks who are here tonight and those who are watching at home. I always like to say thank you for being here. But the topic of the downtown building has been a contentious topic since 2022. So there were some unintended consequences of the downtown building that generally went unnoticed by the public, and I'm going to address some of those and a few reasons that were given to the public to justify the move downtown. Our district mission is simple. It's to educate students. To do that, we need 3 essentials. We need the students, we need the teachers, and we need the curriculum to connect those two. The essentials are led really by 3 departments. We have student services, we have personnel, and we have curriculum and instruction. Those 3 departments are basically the core of the district. Now, we have other departments that do a great job supporting that core to achieve our mission. In May of 2022, the former superintendent and 3 departments, finance, operations, and communications, moved to the new downtown office. In all, it was about 20 people relocated, which is about 25% of our district office staff. The majority of the district office staff, about 75%, stayed at the Pyramidary Road office, where the core remains today. So what was the issue with that? Let me tell you some unintended consequences from my perspective that still exist. First, proximity matters. It matters for accountability. A superintendent can't be in two buildings at one time. Think about your own work experience. When the leader is present and accessible, staff are more motivated, and the day-to-day operations run more smoothly. Questions get asked, questions get answered, decisions are made, and the organization is much more efficient and effective. Proximity improves communication, and the culture benefits from all staff being together. When the leader and all departments share a building, face-to-face interaction increases, which increases communication, and everyone understands the priorities clearly. Visibility matters. The superintendent is the walking, talking vision of the district. Staff need to see and hear their leader on a regular basis, and not being physically present for 75% of your district office staff weakens the leadership presence. In relationship with families, I think those are reduced. The departments that most often work with parents and staff are located at this building, the Pyramid Dairy Road office. We commended our superintendent for having an open door policy, but the fact is the door at Pyramid Dairy is the one that has the most traffic, most parent and staff traffic, not the downtown office. So those are just some of the unintended consequences of that move, and they are still going on today. One of the reasons given for the move downtown was, and I quote, to improve the downtown economy. The byproduct of our mission should be to improve the economic future of our students, not to improve the economic future of downtown Anderson. It's a great place, but it's not our mission. Another reason for the downtown move was to get transportation department out of dilapidated portables. That's a correct word. They were dilapidated. They were horrible. Transportation now operates in the basement of the Pyramid Dairy Road office in less than ideal conditions. I just think we need to up our game for that department. And perception. The downtown building has been a distraction. Questions about the building's price tag, its location, its name, and the overall necessity of that building have divided the community. Many people inside and outside the district felt the move was about image and prestige rather than student-centered priorities. The perception undermines trust and distracts from our mission. So in summary, the downtown split divided our district office. It did do that. The split weakened cohesion. The split lowered accountability, and the split limits the 75% of the district office staff to direct access to the superintendent, and it limits her ability to quickly access them. Phone calls, emails, and text messages between buildings cannot take the place of face-to-face interaction. So our vote tonight isn't just a decision about a building, it's a decision about vision, alignment, and stewardship. So I believe if we're going to call ourselves a family, Anderson 5 is a family, it's time to bring that family back under one roof.
That sounds
Wow.
so good. That
Very
really
well
sound-
said.
Thank you.
Really sound real good, and you just thought of that this time?
Yes, ma'am.
And you
Right
was
off
at
the
the
top of
district,
my head. Right off the top
and you
of
were
my head.
at the district office at that time?
That was-
And you just couldn't say a word about that, and they just went on and built that building. Isn't that something?
Ms. Levin, I think.
I don't know if we do that. Do we do that?
No, this is not a public discussion.
No, I don't think we do that.
You went to your attorney last month. Your attorney wasn't on, you didn't speak, she got.
This is not a public discussion, it's a board meeting.
She's a legal counsel. Now, that sounds real good, and I wish that you had did that to the whoever was down here trying to build that building from the beginning. That would have been a good thing for you to say, and it sounds real good.
Ms. Leverett, those were unintended consequences. You can't predict those.
Oh, really?
Those are just the outcome of moves. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
it looked good then, okay, but not now. Okay, we've heard the discussion on it, and
Madam Chair, may I give my points real quick?
sure,
Thank you. I don't want, if somebody wants to go first, that's fine. Mine are quick.
go ahead.
I believe that the community's trust has been shaken by the purchase. I think if we don't take meaningful steps to show that we hear those concerns, we do risk some long-term damage to public confidence, not just in this board, but in the district. I do think the continued ownership of the building could directly impact the success of the next, what's often called penny sales tax vote. It's a 1% sales tax vote, but I am concerned that the continued ownership of the building could directly impact the success of the next 1% sales tax vote. And if that vote fails, we're going to face far more serious funding shortfalls that affect students, teachers, and the programs that we're trying to implement. I understand the original intent behind the purchase, and it's in no way a blame game. But I do think that now that we've heard the public response, and it's time to adjust. And the last thing I'll say is I trust the superintendent, and I believe they are perfectly capable to find solutions on where to put the people who are downtown.
Facts are though, they can't get all back together. I mean, even Trip motion, was talking about, well, you could stick a few at North Point, you could stick a few over here, and you could stick a few over here. We don't have the space in this building to bring them all back together. We don't have the space anywhere right now to bring them all back together. So if we're, please, so, we don't have the space now. I think the motion at another time may be a great thing for y'all to bring forth. But right now, there are a lot of questions that have to be answered before we can vote to sell a building and not know what we're gonna do if it sells. I mean, to me, we're putting the cart before the horse. We've got to know what's gonna happen if the building sells and needs to come up within 120 days. Where are we gonna put the people? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna move? How much money are we gonna stand to lose just to sell it? Okay? We talk about the financial responsibility that we have as a board. Can we stand to lose $4 million, $3 million, $2 million? How about $1 million? I think there's a lot of discussion that needs to be gone over, questions answered, before we even put this to a vote.
I would like to say we just purchased additional property right here, and I believe there was enough space, but definitely after the purchase. And I agree with the other gentleman that Dr. Kelly and the administration could certainly find a solution to that number of people.
So,
Ms. Burris, I think that's what Mr. Bradshaw was saying. I don't think anybody here is disagreeing. It's just, don't rush into it. We bought this property here. We need to do a long-range plan to see what we're gonna do with this property. We don't wanna build a building here and just like this. Well, if we'd known that was gonna happen, we'd have done this. By no means am I disagreeing with the downtown. I mean, as I told you, I'm not married to it one way or the other. I think it's a nice building, but yeah, and I agree with Tripp. It'd be nice to have everybody in one location. It would be easier. The downtown building has very little foot traffic because of the departments that are there, basically. I just think we've got our retreat the end of next week, and we're gonna do some long-range planning and see what all of our other needs are and make sure this is the route we wanna go with it. Cause if we sell it, it's gonna cost money to build something. Is it gonna benefit us more than our students? Whereas if we just leave it be, so be it. It may not be perfect. Nothing. And y'all keep saying our constituents. Well, I've got constituents who love downtown building. It's like we always say, the only thing two Baptists can agree on is what the third one ought to give. So there's plenty of people that like the downtown building, and if you poll today, some probably do, some probably don't, some could probably care, most probably care less if they don't have kids here. But I would let's just settle down, take a long-term look at what are we gonna do next door with this property, and make sure when we do it, it's done right, because this has got to last generations. That's my only argument about it. I mean,
are we gonna build a $15 million building to put the people from this $6 million building in?
I mean, building costs are astronomical right now, and of course, they're not getting cheaper.
I think we paid $7 million for the building, but I would like to ask Ms. Hurd, how much is the payment?
The building was paid with sales tax funds, so we paid the building off as we built it. So we've not made any payments at any time. The collection for the sales tax that was built up paid the contractor as he was completing the project.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Bradshaw, I hear your arguments really. You have two. You have possibly taking a loss, or entertaining, would we entertain a loss, and then the personnel piece. I believe the personnel piece could be solved pretty easily. Not back here immediately, but temporarily somewhere in our schools. I think North Point probably does have room for that until something could be decided here. And what we would do, and of course, the cost of all that would be to be determined. And I'm not,
Shouldn't we
I'm
know
not-
that before we just sell the one we got?
I'm not in favor of losing money on that. And Mr. Haywood made a good point. If we list it for $5 million and it.
See what happens.
To see what happens. Yeah.
So if we build another one, are we gonna set a limit of $5 million?
That's to be determined. Yeah, let's take one step at a time.
Yeah, it seems like,
we're kinda-
again, putting the cart before the
Well, we
horse,
are.
are we?
Paul, how long would it take to build a commercial building if we started today?
Design and everything.
It'd be 18 to 24 months.
So we're gonna have people displaced for 2 years. And I'm, like I said, here again, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I just think we need to put a little thought into what we're gonna do and see how much money we've got to spend, because we do have some other needs that are very pressing, I think. I mean, we've got 2 middle schools that are more pressing than me to build a building for more people, for office people. I mean, that's my
I don't
opinion.
disagree with that.
Can I make a suggestion?
I've got an idea, I'll tell you later. This
Can
is
I make a
solved problem.
suggestion? Why don't we put off the vote until our January meeting and give our school district a couple of months to look things over, make a plan, and we'll bring it back up in
Yeah.
January.
Would that be considered tabling?
I would
No,
consider
that
kind of
isn't
table.
tabling.
Table
That
it
is
till
not
then. I mean, I think
tabling.
we need to get our ducks in a row, to be honest with you.
Tabling is putting it up at the next meeting. I'm suggesting our January meeting.
And just for the record, you know, if you, this motion is to list it, this motion is not to sell it. And it can always be negotiated what is done prior to a sale. I mean, oftentimes in the house that I live in, I rented it from them for some period of time before the sale was complete. So there's a lot that can be done. This motion is to list it for sale. It is not a final vote on selling the building. And I certainly am very impressed by the building and think it's big and it's beautiful, and I totally disagree that you can get little to no money for it, as y'all say, and am surprised you would say that in a public session when it's your building. So
It's just, I mean, that came from John Wright Jr. I just asked him what, and that was just throwing numbers out. I just feel like you need a little more planning. I'm not saying if it sold for $5 or $6 million, it'd tickle me to death, but still,
let's see
we need
if
to know
that
what we're
happens.
gonna do.
I'd still like to see the appraisal.
Probably give them time if we postponed everything to January.
Yeah. I mean, do we need to make a motion, get a appraisal, can we just get an appraisal? I mean, that's,
Well, just for the record, we talked about an appraisal months ago, and we said something to the administration about looking into it, and that was months ago. And so I just want y'all to know, I'm not married to these specifics, but there needs to be clear direction. And at least you have offered the January meeting. That is some clear direction, but it can seem like it's kicking the can down the road as a means to not do it. I don't have a problem if you don't want to do it. I don't have that problem, but let's don't continue to kick it down the road. I'd like to have a vote to list it, and then we can explore and see what happens. If somebody walks in and hands you some amount of money you didn't expect to get, I can assure you, you could find a solution. Like you said, you'd be tickled if that happened. So let's see.
I mean,
if that happens.
I would kind of go along this verse, at least get an appraisal. I think that's, I mean, that's
Why
what
don't
we've typically
make the-
done.
Why don't we make the motion to
I
get an
mean,
appraisal? on
let's
the
be
downtown?
honest,
Which can be
you
done
list
in
it for
tandem
5
with
and somebody
this.
says, and it appraises for 6 or 7. I mean, you never know. So I think we're not doing due diligence, at least get an appraisal on the building. And that gives us time to get we didn't know, 3 months ago, we were gonna buy this property beside us. So that's giving us a lot of options there we didn't know we had.
We didn't know until just a couple of days ago that this was gonna be on the agenda.
Well, that's common. We don't get agendas until the Friday before, so that's a common thing. That's not an uncommon issue. And I would just ask that if you are gonna move to delay this vote, then, and you want to do an appraisal separate from this. An appraisal could be done in tandem with this motion, but if you don't want to do it, please give the administration a hard date so that it doesn't appear you're just kicking the can down the road to avoid it. If you want to say, no, I don't want to sell the building, I have no problem with that. I just want you to say that. I don't want to be, well, let's get an appraisal. That was said in March of this year.
Well, I'll say it, I don't want to sell the building. I'll say it.
Well, I appreciate that opinion.
Okay, everybody out.
I think I did put a limit on my suggestion.
He
Give
said
it-
January.
Yeah, give them 2 months to
we
gather
go ahead?
information so we can make an informed vote.
Can we go ahead and put it on the agenda for January, even though it's a little ways off?
What I'm
so-
suggesting.
Honestly, why not? Yeah.
Mr. Thompson would have to pull back his motion to do that.
So
It's-
can you clarify what your motion's gonna be so that I can, like I said, to make sure that it's clear? You're saying you wanna put it on the agenda for January. What does that mean? You wanna put it on the agenda for January to decide whether we're gonna get an appraisal, or you're gonna make a motion
No, I'm
tonight
gonna get
to get an appraisal?
No, I would go.
Can you make a motion to get an appraisal by a hard date? Can you do that?
I
Because
don't
that-
think you have to have a motion to put it on the agenda. We can instruct the superintendent today to put it on the January agenda. So that's just an instruction to the
And
superintendent.
I would think that would give us time to get
And
an
that should give us
appraisal.
time to get an appraisal, get any other pertinent information that we may need to list the property correctly.
And maybe some ideas on adding on to this building.
Yeah,
right
where
here.
we're gonna put
Right.
the people, what are we gonna do? I'm not trying to delay this, I'm just trying to get enough information to make a good vote.
Right, and I understand that, and I think that, an appraisal is a healthy thing to ask for. I also think it could be done in tandem with this. You could move the listing date from January 31st, so to speak, to a later date and get your appraisal between now and then. But however you would like to draw up your motion, that's your choice.
The only thing I'd like to interject is, I think we need a plan in place before we just list the building. I don't know how McMillan, Paz, and Smith, if they're just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, which I doubt they are, if they're anything like our firm is right now. But it would be hard pressed to have a plan established, priced, and brought back to the board by January for where we would place. Now, again, I know Mr. Duke said we could place the staff in the schools temporarily. I get that. But the bottom line is I think we have to have a plan in place prior to pulling the trigger on selling the building. I couldn't care less if we sell it or not. I'm not married to the building. I think Mr. Dukes brought up some great points with everybody being under one roof. It does bode well with the district to have the superintendent and the staff all together. I do not argue that point at all. But I still think just to flippantly say, we need to sell the building so we can get our constituents happy at me, because I've not heard one negative thing about the building from my constituents. So that's just my constituents.
And
So, to me, I think we do need to make a plan, and then we can make a educated decision on what to do, and not just say, we're gonna sell the building, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do with everybody. And let's say we have 200% tariffs, and then mechanical units go up through the roof, steel goes through the roof, and now it's costing $600 a square foot to build a building versus $350, and none of us know that. And
Well,
so,
not all of us want to build another building to house these people. Some of us are proposing utilizing current facilities.
but
And I
that,
can promise you with today's technology, there are ways, artificial intelligence could certainly analyze many of these buildings and show you how to turn a desk or two sideways and get those people in there. On
But-
top of that, we have Zoom where you can work from home. So I guess I just want to state for the record, I'm not saying, I'm not in favor necessarily of going and building another building for them. If I'm of the opinion that we can use space we currently have, I just want you to know that that's my opinion of how it should be handled. I'm not looking at going and building another building. That doesn't make any sense. And thinking in that way, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm looking at,
According to
But that
Tripp,
doesn't
one of
put people- that
the
doesn't put people
negative
on the same road.
consequences was separating our people. I mean, that's according to Tripp. One of the unforeseen consequences was separating.
Yeah,
And
I'd like
how
to see
it's-
everybody together.
Yeah. So, you know, just to say, oh, we'll stick a few here and a few there and leave them that way for 3 years or so while we make a plan and then execute the plan.
And then a board can change and nothing get done.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Because it changes.
It's like, I mean, it is, there's subject to change every 2 years.
And Troy had a good point about adding on. That is a possibility, adding on to this building.
course.
We agree with that. It's just we gotta have a plan. We can't just, that things have to be approved. You can't just say, it's not like building an addition on a house. I mean, I'm just asking to do long-term, make sure we get a plan in place and do it correctly, whatever we do.
we used to put our teachers and students in portables, and a lot of people didn't like that. They thought that was degrading, or to some degree, but there are ways to, I just want to say there are ways to handle that. And I think it's okay to say no, but to say there's no way we can do this other than build another building for them, I think we ought to hit
Well,
pause.
I know
Let
back
me-
in 2006 with the bond referendum to do this, Ms. Bagley said a portable then cost $100,000. And when you got ready to sell it, you basically gave them away to get rid of them. So that's wasting taxpayers' money for something temporary.
Again, I just want to reiterate, we just need a plan. If the plan is to disperse the administration into different buildings, put the plan together, let's vote on it and make the decision. But if the plan is to put an addition on this building, we need to have a plan to put addition on this building and get a price and vote on it and make that decision. We just need to have a plan before we just say, let's sell the building and displace these people wherever we can squeeze them in and Zoom call each other every day. I mean, that's,
I think we need to get an appraisal before we go to a lot of other trouble finding these other solutions.
I agree.
I agree, Ms. Burris.
Well, even after we get the appraisal, that would be good. But in my mind, when we were talking about the land that we had gotten, that we were gonna do something for the buses, and then we had 2 schools we had to work on. To me, that's just, you just throwing dirt on me, because I just can't, I can't imagine moving right now. Even if, if you moved them to a portable. I thought we was gonna get some things done, and then if you wanna sell that place, sell it. But let's get some things done that we had already had on our mind that we were gonna do. And my mind was the land that we purchased, that we were gonna try to do something with that, and the other people that we have that's struggling now. So just to come up to sell that building, just right now, I just can't see that. It just seems like that's just a load that's just thrown on you. And if you get this, we already have this land, why can't we do something with this land? And then if we can move these people there, or, build something else, and everybody will be out here on Pilmerdale Road. But just don't throw them in over there and over there. We just said we wanted them together. Maybe my mind is just little. I can't understand that we're making something better for our children. We just said we needed a new McKinsey. That's to make something better for our children. We just said that some school needs something else. That's making something better for our children than selling the.
So we have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second. We done the discussion. Who is all in favor of it? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You
No,
have
just
5 that's in favor of it?
Was it
Just
four? 4.
4
We
that's
only
in
have
favor?
8 here tonight.
Oh, okay, sorry. 4 in favor of it and
Opposed?
4 opposed.
Four opposed.
So it fails.
Did you get that, Miss Tiffany? Because I don't want. Okay,
And how do we handle the appraisal then?
I will be glad to, from this conversation, I have gleaned a few things, so let me know if I have gleaned correctly. You would like for me to get an appraisal for the building on 102 North Main Street. Once we get that appraisal, we'll take that information and we will look to see what it could look like if we were to sell that building and have to move those folks. I did want to make one mention that has not been brought up tonight yet. Finance has to be where there's a vault. So when Ms. Hurd's team, her whole team has to be together, so they can't be piecemeal. Kyle can be piecemeal, sorry Kyle. Wes can be piecemeal, I can be,
I got it on
that
first
doesn't
one.
matter to us. But Amy Hurd and her team has to be with the vault, so you're going to dislocate all of HR and technology, which is not a problem, but I do want you to know it's not just as easy as those 20 people will be able to relocate, because she has to be with a vault, and this building has a vault. So the people right now that are sitting in those areas, they will have to relocate. Does that make,
How many people are in finance,
how many do you have, Ms. Hurd?
including yourself?
It's about 13, 14.
13. So that's just something, but we'll take that on and put it in our plan and create something for you all so that you can look at that to see who all will be displaced when this move happens prior to another building or portables out on the lawn, whatever that might look like. And I do understand the basement period. I worked in the basement. I do know that, and Mr. Dukes knows that. His office was up here, and he had to come down to the basement to talk with me. So I have worked in the basement as well. It's a very quiet place, and you get a lot done down there. I will say that. So the plan, the plan
Till
for
the doorbell
us
rings.
as we leave, I will get us an appraisal. I don't know the time frame on that, but I will communicate that out with y'all to see how fast and quickly we can get that done. We will take that information, and then we'll design multiple plans,
Okay.
because people will have to be displaced in this building to ensure that we meet the requirements of finance. Okay? All
and
right.
there's you getting a appraisal and that.
Yes, ma'am.
You do pay,
Yes,
you do
ma'am.
pay for appraisals.
Yes, ma'am. I will get that for us and let you all know.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
And can we discuss this maybe some more on October 30th?
I will try. That's less than a week away, but we can discuss it more. I don't know that I'll have this information
Oh,
for you.
okay.
But I'll try. I'll see. I don't know how fast we can get that. But we definitely can discuss
Wes
it.
could do that. couldn't
And
you?
that'll be
He
live
could
streamed as
survey.
well, so that's open to the public.
Wes could do that, cause he could survey.
Okay.
Okay, now we're down to 8, executive session.
Oh,
Superintendent's
seven.
report.
I'm so sorry, Superintendent.
That's all right.
I was trying to go on.
That's all right. Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity to provide instructional and financial information to you all. First, we're going to have Ms. Blaylock come. She will be providing updates for our CERDEP program, which is Child Early Reading and Developmental Education Program, and this program provides preschool instruction for our 4-year-olds. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Blaylock.
Perfect. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board, and Dr. Kelly. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak before you and really brag on our dynamic 4K program here in Henderson School District 5. You should have a one-pager handout. It doesn't have the photos on it. I took the photos today while I was at Homeland Park. And so, those are not a part of the handout, but you have all of the information there with you. So when we talk about the 4K program in our district, we oftentimes call it CERDEP 4K. And that CERDEP 4K preschool program it stands for Childhood Early Reading Development Education Program. And basically, the nuts and bolts of our program is it's a full day 4K program. It's aligned to our state and our district reading plan, which is required by the Department of Education. It really supports the developmental and learning goals of our 4K students. And there is a readiness assessment, and that assessment here's our students getting ready for kindergarten and a regular school day. So, when we're talking about our 4K program in Anderson 5, I thought it would be important for you to know that's actually 18 classes. We have 18 4K classes, and we have 20 students in each of those classes, and all of those are full. We do have one school, Nevitt Forest, that has 3 spots available, so all full except one. So the schools that have just one classroom is Calhoun, Centerville, Concord, and Midway, and then all of the other schools have actually 2 4K classrooms: Homeland Park, Lee's, Nevitt, New Prospect, North Point, Whitehall, and West Market. We do have 3 of those schools with a wait list, meaning those parents are wanting their children to go to that particular school. Right now, it's at a cap of 20, and we can't go over that per the guidelines provided by the state, but we do have a wait list so that if somebody does, let's say, transition out, we can go straight to the list and pull in the next 4K student that's on the list. So in all, we have 357 4K students enrolled, which I think is pretty awesome. Our registration process, we open our window December 1st, so it's coming pretty quickly. And we have that window open until January the 31st. Our parents can go and complete a form on our district website, and then we assign appointments for our parents. That's usually mid-February, and then again mid-April. During those appointment times, we ask our parents to bring the required paperwork, and then this year specifically, we're going to even involve our Dial-4 screener during that appointment time, hoping that we can go ahead and get a good read on where our students are with motor skills, the concepts, their language, self-help, and social development. And so that screener is called the Dial-4, and it stands for Developmental Indicators for the Assessment of Learning. So, what do they do all day long in 4K? It is not glorified daycare. No way, Jose. They are learning, and it is robust, and the curriculum that they use is Frog Street curriculum. It is state approved, it's research-based, and it is a structured preschool curriculum. It is aligned to our early learning standards provided by the state of South Carolina. It does provide support for their cognitive skills, but also their physical skills, their language skills, and their social emotional development. One wonderful thing about the Frog Street curriculum is that it is all about hands-on, engaging learning experiences.
Right.
This is just a quick little snapshot for you of our readiness assessment. So all of our 4K classes are required to give a readiness assessment the first 45 days of the school year and the last 45 days. So basically your first quarter, which we just finished, and then again in the last quarter. And the purpose of this is really to gauge our students and see where they are with literacy and with numbers, numeracy. And they are given performance tasks to complete. And so I thought it would be interesting for you to see, this isn't really comparing apples to apples, this is comparing spring to spring. So 2 years ago, our 4K students, where they were with social, physical, language, cognitive, and literacy and math development and readiness for kindergarten. And then the students that we just finished up with this last school year, in the spring of 2025, we had all of our numbers increased for readiness, being ready for kindergarten this year. I think it's amazing. It's just goes to show the hard work that our teachers put in, and of course, the great learning opportunities that our students are provided. Finally, I'd like to share with you that our teachers in our 4K program are receiving professional development that is a part of this program. This year specifically, those teachers are undergoing early childhood letters training. And so you might have heard us speak about this letters training that our kindergarten through 3rd grade teachers and administrators are going through. It's a 2-year course. Well, they have now made a course for our 4K classes, our 4K teachers to go through. It's called Early Childhood Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. So that's that early childhood letters training. We actually, in District 5, we have the largest cohort in the entire upstate region. I'm pretty impressed by that. So we are so large that we created our own cohort, and then all the other surrounding districts, they are all together in another cohort. So their numbers are smaller than ours. We have the largest, which I think represents how much we value and support preschool education. So what is this professional development all about? Well, it's based on the science of reading. You've probably heard those terms used a little bit when we talked about our instruction. It's aligned to the letters that our teachers in kindergarten through third grade are already being trained in, and of course our administrators. That means that the students at 4K are going to be going into these classrooms, kindergarten, where they've already started learning about phonics and phonemic awareness from these teachers. It's a one-year course. It's online. The teachers are doing the coursework in person in training, 2 1-hour, 6-hour training sessions, and then they have to also complete assessments. Not only do we have our teachers involved, we have our assistant superintendent of instruction who is also going through this training currently. So we're excited about it, learning a lot, expanding our brains in more ways than we thought possible. But so that is all I have to say about 4K. It's amazing, and I'm super proud to be able to share the highlights with you.
Thank you, Ms. Blaylock. Do y'all have any questions for Ms. Blaylock? No? All right, next. Thank you, Ms. Blaylock. Ms. Elrod will provide updates about the newly adopted formative assessment, iReady. iReady is an adaptive assessment that offers personalized instruction for all kindergarten through 8th grade students.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board.
Yes, please. Yes, right there. The two, yes, that, yes. There you go.
So tonight I'd like to talk a little bit about our new diagnostic assessment, iReady. This is something that we adopted this year in place of MAP, which was Measures of Academic Progress. And I just broke down the assessment here to look at the different pieces that we have started learning about this year throughout all of our schools in kindergarten through 8th grade. So we are administering this assessment, this diagnostic, 3 times a year, just as we did with math at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and in the spring before we do SC Ready. It has a progress monitoring feature, so every 3 weeks it reassesses the students in their personalized pathways to make sure that they are progressing, and if not, it drops back down so they get instruction at their level and what they need at their time. We can look at standards masteries based on individual standards. We have a couple of schools that are really digging into that and assigning that specifically to some tier 2 intervention pieces, which we discussed that today at our middle school meeting and how that looks, and had some great collaboration going on across our schools there. I talked a little bit about the integrated personalized instruction. The diagnostic, like I mentioned before, automatically generates that personalized learning based on that assessment 3 times a year. We have differentiated growth targets. So iReady provides 2 specific research-based growth targets for every student, which mirrors what the state does with SC Ready. And we have the positive growth model and the typical growth model for our stretch growth in our state, and that is measured on our report cards. And then it gives our teachers actionable reports. It actually can pull information to put students in small groups based on the skills that they need at that time. And so they can get those, unlike MAP, we had to wait about 24 hours after that assessment to get any information. It gives it to them instantaneously. So that is a great feature of this all-in-one ecosystem is what they like to say about this specific diagnostic. I broke it down a little bit further here just to compare the two, and I won't go over the map since that is kind of in our rearview mirror on the right-hand side. But for iReady, the primary purpose is for diagnosis of instruction designed to seamlessly link the results to integrated personalized learning. And that is a different piece than Matt did when we were norm referencing with other students across the United States. The scoring scale looks a little different. We used a RIT scale in MAP, whereas we use a scale score of 100 to 800 and placement levels, and I'm going to talk about those specifically in a moment. key growth metrics. We talked a little bit about those growth and stretch growth indicators on iReady and how that attainable growth targets are tailored to the individual student. And then data to instruction, that integrated and automated piece is the test results are automatically generating that personalized path, which we did not have in math. The teachers had to take and use that based on those RIT scores and come up with what would be next for the student in their instruction. And then the test experience. That's one of the things I think is truly key about what we're doing different with iReady. It generally is considered to be high engagement due to the fact that there's embedded brain breaks for students. So they give them so many questions and then they'll take a little brain break where they can play a quick little game, get their mind off the assessment, and it's a gamified element which improves that student effort and keeps them engaged in that assessment. And then moving right along, so you can see what the teachers, the schools, and the district gets. We get this at 3 different levels here. We can understand the criterion reference with placement levels based on the coloring system that you see here. So I'll show you in just a moment some of the snapshots of our assessments at the beginning of the year. But if you see the dark green there, that means that that student is at mid or above grade level at that time. If it's a lighter green, they're early on with those grade level skills. If it is yellow, they're 1 grade level below. If it is that pink, light pink salmon color, they're 2 grade levels below. And then with the red, the dark red, they're 3+ grade levels below. So I'm going to show you just a brief snippet here. This is our baseline data where we started in August. And at the top, you will see our reading. We can look at this in the 3-level placement, but we prefer that enhanced level with the 5-level placement that gives us a little more specifics. Overall, K through 8th grade, this is what our district looked like in reading coming into the school year. Now that means that whatever grade level that they are at, all of the students in yellow to red were not hitting those grade level standards at that time. But they haven't been introduced to that grade level. So a 6th grader is not there yet because they've not had 6th grade standards. Does that make sense? Math is the same way. You can see there we have a few less students that were already performing at that 6th grade level if you look at the green there. But this is district-wide. This is K through 8th grade that we're taking this snapshot. Moving on just a little bit more in detail, the other thing that we can do with iReady is dig a little bit deeper into that content area. So at the top, you see how, as Ms. Blaylock mentioned just a minute ago, phonological awareness and what we're doing with letters training, teachers get specific information about how their students are performing based on those individual areas of reading that we are addressing through letters and through our reading program.
Ms. Elrod, I apologize, but I just want to make sure they're seeing it correctly. The yellow right now is okay.
It is.
Yellow is okay because what they're saying is the yellow is they're performing right where they should be at the beginning of that grade level. The assessment they're taking is monitoring for the end of the grade level. Does that make sense? So it's monitoring what they should learn within that grade level. So right now, yellow and green are good. The red is the ones that are below grade level.
And those are the ones we're using tier 2 intervention with and tier 3 intervention with. Okay? And then, of course, you see our math by domains there. So we have it broken down into numbers, operations, algebraic thinking, measurement and data, and then geometry. So that just gives you a little snapshot at what our teachers get to see on a regular basis and what we'll be able to look at district-wide more after our administration in December, and then we'll do another administration to see their growth in the year in March. Okay? And then one last thing, I just wanted to be very transparent about this. This is iReady's map across the state of South Carolina. 79% of the school districts over the state are using iReady. So there's not a lot of grade there, as you can see. They are probably still sticking with MAP or another state-approved progress monitoring tool. But Dr. Kelly and I looked this afternoon, and we will share later with you how we have done across the state when some of our data is released. But out of our similar districts, there's only 2 that are in the gray on there that are not using iReady at this time. So just wanted you to have that as an awareness, because that was not hot to my team when we met this year at the beginning to get our data from iReady. So I'll be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Would you say that there's a similar amount of computer time for the students between iReady and MAP? I mean,
Say that again, I'm sorry.
would you say there's a similar amount of time on the Chromebook between iReady and MAP?
So
or-
we did not have a personalized path for math assessment.
Right.
But what we tell our teachers and what the recommendation is to get the maximum potential that we can get out of the personalized pathways is to strive for 45 every week.
Okay.
So 45 minutes in that personalized pathway.
At home?
No, sir.
Okay.
That's in the classroom.
Okay.
So, for example, if I'm a reading teacher or a teacher in an elementary school and I'm having a reading group, I may have that group with me working on some of that standards mastery, but you may be at your desk doing some of your personalized pathway or some assignments that the teacher can actually assign based on some of your standards mastery that you need to work on at that time.
Okay. So there's probably more with iReady, to some degree, there's probably more interaction with the Chromebook than
Possibly,
with
yes,
MAP.
sir, but we had other programs that we were utilizing in place of this that was not connected to MAP.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mid-year assessment still December?
Yes, sir. We tried to stay as close as we could to those cut times.
Mhm.
And what Dr. Kelly has worked on providing this last year is really that push the last 6 weeks after that last administration, and we are planning on doing that again, to look at those students who are still struggling, to give that last push on get ready for SC ready.
I'm still gonna do have those students and assistants or folks you've hired to help tutor or?
Yes, and so some schools are waiting till the 6 weeks because they're trying to determine exactly which standards the kids need to master, but we have some schools starting now. Verennis is starting now. So it's dependent upon the need of the school and how many students are in that red piece that are below grade level that they're trying to ensure meets their AVT, which is a stretch goal. AVT means more than a year's worth of growth. And so that is what one part of the measurement of the growth piece on the report card that we'll discuss hopefully in November. But that AVT is what we're shooting for, and so that's a stretch goal. So there's an MAT, which is 1 year's worth of growth, and every kid on the report card gets 1 point for meeting that. AVT is a stretch goal, so you grew more than a year, and you can get up to 14 points for that. And so that's how your student progress is built.
You may have said it, does iReady provide you with the stretch goal?
Yes, 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 so,
Take some of that work off of Ms.
yes,
Martin.
Yes.
I just caught you
And-
jab about report cards.
And one of the things that I think, as Dr. Kelly mentioned, schools have had the autonomy to look at their data that is coming in now and say, what do I need to address? We have one school, a particular middle school that I'm thinking of, that they know that a particular group of children is very low, that they have worked with and saw that information come back and knew that coming in last year. So their target is that right now, to kind of work all year in that way. And another thing, some of our title schools, and I'm speaking Mr. Duke's language here because he understands this, some of our title students get to school very early in the morning. And because fourth grade is tested in science, they want to take some of that opportunity when they arrive on the bus, you know, at 7:15 in the morning, and start teaching some of those science skills before school starts for their fourth graders that are sitting there and getting some of that extra instruction.
Catch them when you can.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Elrod.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, next we're going to have Mr. Newton and Dr. Savage will provide Anderson 5 Education Foundation updates. The Anderson 5 Education Foundation was created in 2000 and supports students through grants and programs.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Members of the board, Dr. Kelly had asked for us to come up and give a brief overview of the Education Foundation. As Dr. Kelly mentioned, the Education Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit. Throughout the years, it's kind of existed in various iterations throughout the years. That mission's never changed, which is to support our schools and our students. Currently, there's about $350,000 in the Education Foundation. About 2/3 of that money is earmarked for supporting our homeless students. So that's why Dr. Savage up here does a great job managing that program for the school district. And really about the majority of the remaining funds are actually restricted funds because they're passing through for AIT. For a lot of our corporate donors, you know, Michelin, Bosch, Granger Nissan, Arthrex, some of our big supporters at AIT, they had to have that 501c3 designation when they're donating those funds. So those are funds that are passing through the foundation before they go to AIT to support those programs. There's also a small amount of funds in there for teacher grants. I'm turning it over to Dr. Savage. She's going to hear a little bit about homeless and also some of the teacher grants that we've recently done.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, board members, and Dr. Coe, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the Ed Foundation and how the wonderful programs that go through this pass through. Right now, we're accepting donations, of course, for the homeless and the needy. We also support the Dolly Parton Imagination Library through this by fundraising and sending books to children. We received a grant from the Delta Dental Corporation, which has paid for emergency dental care for many of our children. We accept Bosch donations. Right now we have Mr. Roberts from Glenview with a drone program going on through that program. And as Mr. Newton said, we have the AIT donations. Excuse me, every time I get up to speak, my heart goes racing.
Oh, you're doing good.
I'm happy to drill down into the amounts in each of those accounts that we have and how we're supporting them. The homeless and needy program right now has about $191,000 in it. We had $27,000 to start the year and just gave out $23,000 in teacher grants. I can drill down a little further with that as well if you'd like. For what we gave out, we had Mr. Bradshaw join us last week to give those out. And as I said, we have the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, that's $40,000. And we are up to 15,000 books that we've sent out in the last 3 years.
Wow.
The last
Wow.
year.
Fantastic.
I'm happy to answer any questions for you, but that's just the quick and easy of what's going on with the foundation and how important it is to the district and how important it is to our families, our children, and our teachers.
We'll give Dr. Savage credit too, like the homeless program, you know, I've talked to y'all a handful of times about it before. That is an ever-evolving, ever-changing program. That's a federal program. Sometimes the rules and regulations change, sometimes they change quickly. She does a great job at adapting. But that's something where a lot of times people think we have more flexibility when it comes to that than we really do. And that's a lot of legwork for somebody doing this program. Ms. Butler did a great job with it. Dr. Savage is doing a great job with it. That's a lot of, you know, picking up the phone, calling people, you know, getting in touch with services, you know, trying to get people in, you know, trying to find rooms, trying to get them, I mean, every single day. I know, you know, Dr. Savage every single week, you know, encounters new families in need. I think I told you last time during the hurricane, the huge spike we had for people who all of a sudden qualified for services because they were no longer, you know, living in their home. They were in extended stay hotels and families. So she does a great job in managing that for us. But like she said, if you have any questions.
I appreciate this because I just feel like it need to be, everybody donates things to Five Foundation. I just feel like people need to really know what it does. Great, Brian. I'm glad that way they've got their questions answered and may encourage people to give to it a little more, see where the money goes and how it's used.
And just for information, our McKinney and Joe funds have shrunken drastically. We had ARP 1 money to go through, we had ARP 2 money to get us through the COVID years. That money is gone. McKinney Vento funds have been cut by 55% since before COVID. So we really, really rely on the Homeless Foundation to be able to support the students in the areas that we just aren't going to have enough for.
And the need is definitely not shrunk. 100%.
Well, how many students do you have?
Last year I had 376.
Wow.
This year I'm only up to about 175. Between now and Christmas, I anticipate growing by another 100. That's when our families come to see me and say that we really need assistance with Christmas. We need assistance with clothing. They're growing. They need shoes. They need clothes. And by the end of the year, it goes in flows, ebbs and flows. But by the end of the year, I anticipate being pretty close to 375.
And we encourage our principals and our school counselors, you know, if they have any questions or they think somebody may qualify, whether they do or, you know, don't, you know, please send families, send students to, you know, Dr. Savage. Because even if they don't qualify under homeless, there may be other resources in the community that we can connect them to.
Where is your office?
Yeah, right away.
Okay. Well, maybe our churches maybe can give children something for Christmas.
We're working on that, getting them all.
Dr. Savage, thank you for what you do. I've reached out before and needed some information for a constituent, and you were really responsive. If I get the question often, what can I do to help the homeless students, for example, in District 5? Would you say the best thing for me to tell them is to call your number or email you? Is that a good place and way to send them? Okay.
We maintain closets. I have a closet here downstairs with toiletries, clothes, shoes, backpacks, school supplies. I also have a classroom over at South Bend that is equally stocked and just make it convenient for the social workers so they can get to those cases.
I think that's one Coach Smith showed me a couple of years ago. He just tickled over that closet and what they can do for children. I mean, he has a big heart for it.
Does the foundation have any employees in and of itself? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Savage.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shannon.
Ms.
Thank you.
Dr. Savage.
Thank you for the update.
And then finally, Ms. Hurd will discuss the Anderson 5 monthly financials and the updated tax levy information.
Dr. Kelly, Madam Chair, members of the board, we will start out with our financial statements. But before we get there, I do feel like I need to say, because my division is the entire division that is at the downtown building, that we will be happy to work together to support this district, no matter where we are located. I think we take pride in what we do. I think we work hard. I know that we are a support organization to the students and the teachers and the instruction, but I'm not sure how much of that's gonna get happening if teachers don't get their paychecks. So, I know my phone is blowing up already, about some, about that they felt like that it was deemed that maybe we weren't an essential service, but I feel like we are an essential service, and we know that we are a support organization to this district, but I did want to make it known that no matter where we are, my division is going to give you 100% and make sure this district moves forward. So,
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
let me start out with the financials, with the sales tax numbers. You can see we have our first payment for, September, which is July, and it was $1.356 million in total allocation, with $271,000 going to, property tax relief, and a little over $1 million for, capital projects. And of that, you can see that it is $18,000 more than the same time last month here in green. And it is, if we scroll up a little bit and look at the blue as compared to the gold here, we have $117,000 more than the same time last year. I was trying to think of what may have caused that huge gain, because $100,000 more when really 1.239 has been a strong month for us last year. And the only thing I could really think of to start with was Rock the Country, was a big event in July for our county. But we had that the July of the previous year too. So I haven't come up with something that may have caused that impact really, but we're thankful for it. And so sales tax is still coming in very strong for us. If we look at the financial information, we're comparing, September 30th of 2024 to September 30th of 2025 on the left-hand column. On the right side here, we're looking at the year-to-date from 9/30/2024 to 9/30/2025. And both, if you look down at the revenues, our property taxes are up this month, and as, same for year-to-date. Our investment income is down this month as compared to last year, the same month, as well as this year. Of course, as we talk about every month, right here is your investment rate. It's down almost a full %, so that's probably why the interest rate is down. Our sales tax revenues are up for the month as well as for the year. That's expected because we got more money from the state for our aided classrooms, more money for our teachers, so that is expected. And then our transfers, we're down as compared to last year, and we're down about $500,000 from at year-to-date as compared to last year. And if you'll remember, September 30th of 2024 is when ESSER completely ended. So from the period of July 1 through September 30th, we did an indirect cost calculation and received some money from our ESSER funds. And so that's one of the reasons there. And then we'll also see one more time. We did that last indirect claim in December from all the money had to be spent by September 30th, but we had to report it to the state by December 31st of last year. So we did get some money for that. So that's what your state grants, that's what the difference is there. Our expenditures are up about $2 million. And so that is, we expected as well, considering that we knew we have raises that were given out, increases in utilities, increases in personnel. So nothing has happened that is unexpected when we look at our pupil activity accounts or our financial statements as of 9/30. I feel like we are in really good shape as to where we are going. We are tracking to not have as much in fund balance at the end of the year. However, there are a lot of things that can change. New business can come in, one can leave, state can give us more money or anything else, and that may impact as well our financial statements. But right now, we are in good financial shape for September 30th. Any questions on your financial statements before I move over to tax levies?
No,
All
thank
right,
you.
I'm gonna pull that up, and we're gonna hand out some packets for you.
Tax bill in this week.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
And we do have copies.
Went to the schools. Yeah, and that comes cost. But your house, people look over here and say, see that for the school, and they always came, but they really weren't paying that. They get a discount. George Preston did that a while back, years, remember George Preston? To make us look, you make people mad about schools. That's what it's
Somebody got a nice house.
There's a discount.
That's a pretty nice
or
house.
Just that creative, yeah, you really don't pay that much. Most people don't realize that. They look at it right there.
Yeah.
About John and Jane Doe. What's that house appraised for?
That's a George Preston.
$486,000. Supposed to be a lake house somewhere.
Yeah, that's why we're explaining.
Oh, good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I always tell people, there's two graphs, two
We're
graphs.
gonna start, it's on the screen here. For
Most of my
those of you
taxes are
didn't
more than
get
that.
a copy, we have it,
Sucks.
on the screens, but we're gonna start with the page that looks like, kind of like this right here. It says assessments at the top, and this information came from our county assessor, Mr. McLean. And, just in case if you didn't know, the 5 school districts, the municipalities, meet with the county officials about once a month. We don't always make it monthly, sometimes it may be more quarterly, but we try to make sure all of us know what's going on in the county. So if the county folks need to let us know if a business is closing and may impact our taxes, then we know that. If somebody bids come in, that we might get some more money, they try to let us know those kind of things. We have a really good working relationship with our county folks that communicate very well with the municipalities and school districts in Anderson County. And that is not the case throughout the state, so I have told them before, I thank them for working with us so closely. It does help us keep you guys informed, when we're talking about things, especially during the budget process. But this was provided to us in September, and I just wanted to share it with you. Again, it's real estate and mobile homes assessments, and it's the change for the 25 tax year. And then you can see each one of the school districts, and then the assessment change and the percentage change. One of the questions may be, Amy, who is Spartanburg 7? And I had to ask that same question.
School
And
district
actually,
7.
there
School
is a
district 7.
portion of Pickens County that borders on Anderson County, and some of the money actually goes over to Pickens County. So School District 7 there is actually Pickens County. And you can see it's a small amount. But I did just want you to see the change from 24 to 25, I believe that's the second page, that it shows you the change in assessments for the 5 schools, or the 6 school districts included together. And if we exclude District 7, our growth was the smallest of the 5 districts. So really just wanted to share that information because it came to us, and I wanted you to see it as well. The other thing that we received at the same meeting is the tax levy. And so you probably now have all received your tax bill. They were supposed to go out October 15th, yes. And so we got this toward the end of September when we met. And this is your yellow highlighted page there, that packet that you received with your stuff there. And this is actually on the Anderson County website. It's on the auditor's website. So if you go to the department auditor, and then it'll say tax levy, and you can see the tax levy sheet. This shows everything from Anderson 1 through Anderson 5. And when you're looking at it, you know, the top line there says 1, and it kind of has a blank. That will be your county, unless you are one of those cities or special units that are listed down below it. If you're in that, you may have additional tax millage, but if you aren't listed in one of those, you are just on that top blank line. And that's the same thing for District 2, District 3, District 4, and then I believe you have highlighted where District 5 is, all the way across there. And then, but if you're in Cobb's Glen, the city, Homeland Park, there are some additional millage that is added on to you for different reasons. So that is why it's broken out
So,
separately.
Ms. Hurd, so you, if I'm looking at this correctly, Districts 1 and 2, their career center actually charges millage where ours does not,
Yes,
correct?
that is correct. So if you look at the 4th column that says career and technology, you can see that, you know, about halfway of the page has 22.89 meals is charged to individuals that live in Anderson 1 and Anderson 2 for the operations of their career center. And then if you'll see Districts 3, 4, and 5 have no number there, that's because Anderson 3, 4, and 5 operating general fund budgets funds our AIT for the.
So those funds will not show up in District 1 and 2's regular budget like ours at all, okay.
Yes, that is correct. And I'm gonna show you some comparisons next, and so so if you look at your second page here on that document, this shows the millage, going back to 2020, and for all 5 school districts. The top section there is operating millage. So that is what we use to operate the school district. Pay the teachers, pay the lights, utilities, supplies, professional development, whatever we may need. The top section there is what we use for operating millage. If you own just your residential home, there is no operating millage on that. So this would be for cars, second homes, businesses, they would pay this millage. So if you look back in 2020, Anderson 1 had 171.2, go on down, Anderson 5 had 190 in 2020. Go all the way across to 2026, is which the millage, the levy sheet that you just got that the county posted. Anderson 1 now is 196.94 on their operating meals. I'll go on down, you see 2, 3, 4, and we're at 191 meals. If you look over to the difference to the right, that is what the districts added during last budget season, during the budget process. So Anderson 1 added 8.52 meals, Anderson 2 added 7.39, Anderson 3 added 0.05. Now, some of you might say, Amy, you stand up there and tell me we can't add more than 8 meals because of local legislation in regards to when we're working on the budget. The reason that Anderson 1 is more than 8 meals is because it's got their career center and their school district. So that that's the difference there that would make that up. So Anderson 1 asked for all 8 mills, Anderson 2 did not ask for all 8 mills, that's why the number is not the same there. If you go on down to the second block there, that's the debt millage, that is on everybody's tax bill. So your property tax bills that just were mailed out, the debt millage is put on those. Again, same thing, I show you 2014 on this chart, because when we talk about sales tax and the 1% tax, part of that, the referendum was that we would put 20% back. So that's why I always tell you what the debt relief is when we meet every month, because that money goes directly over into a pot to help bring down the debt millage. And so 2024 millage is prior to sales tax. So that's where we were prior to sales tax, and then I'm gonna jump over like I did from 2020 on. And you can see that if you look in 2026, Anderson 1 has 46 debt mills, Anderson 2, 21, Anderson 3, 38, Anderson 4, 52, Anderson 5 has 12. So we went down by 2, Anderson 1 went up by 11, and the other 3 stayed the same.
Did Anderson 4 pass a bond?
Yeah.
They did.
Okay,
Yes.
is that
New high
reflected
school.
on here?
Yes, sir. If you look in 2024 down in Anderson 4 on the debt, it's 44 mills, and it jumped up to 52 last year, and so it stayed at 52 this year as well. So, yeah, it jumped up 8 mills last year, and they've been able to keep it consistent. So that's why I like to give you a history, because you can kind of look and see. So, for example, Mr. Duke's 2020 Anderson 4 was 30, now they're 52. So, I'm sorry, 33 to 52. So then, well, all I did was just want to to show you, the bottom is adding them both together, because again, your home, I'm sorry, that is not good. Your vehicles, your second homes, your RVs, businesses, they would have both operating millage and debt millage on your property taxes. So you can again see, all we did was just add the top box, the middle box, to come down to the bottom box. So during last year's budget season that you all approved for us in June, looking at all the other countywide districts, Anderson 1 increased their total millage between debt and operations by 19.52, Anderson 2 by 7.39, Anderson 3 by 0.05, Anderson 4 by 0, and Anderson 5, we went down 2 mills. And again, that was relative to the debt millage decreasing. So I wanted to share that, and then if you look at the last page, all I'm doing there is just taking that information that we just talked about and running it through the calculation that goes onto your tax bills, using the millage and what it would look like. So what that first column box says, this section kind of right here, that first total thing there, we're looking at total millage. So total millage would be on your vehicles. And so if you have a $30,000 vehicle, in Anderson 1, you pay $437, Anderson 2, $443, Anderson 3, $411, Anderson 4, $309, Anderson 5, $365. So the right-hand column, I'm showing if you were in Anderson 1, you pay $72 more than you do in Anderson 5. We are the lowest millage for any vehicle, RV, home, or anything else in the county. So everywhere else that you live would be more than ours.
We have a larger tax base.
I'm sorry.
We
Yes,
have a
sir.
larger.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And that's what the first shows you assessments. Our total assessment is much larger than those other districts because everything is based off those assessments. Yes. So then we do the same thing to the right there on your business. You just do the same calculation so you can see that. And then down at the bottom, we did it on homes because again, on a home, all you have is the debt millage. So you can see Anderson 1 with 46 mills, $300,000 debt would be 552, 21, 252, and Anderson 5 with 12 mills, you would have $144. So just wanted to share that with you. And then I know this is a big question that we get a lot of times as well.
Maybe real quick,
Yes, sir.
the boat tax, is that come off yet? Is that-
Just steps off in 3 years.
Okay.
They expect you to come back in January.
I was asked about that recently. I didn't have a good answer.
So that, right now, it's in, they're still discussing it. I think that it's going to happen, it's just probably gonna come in phases instead of a one-year thing.
Good.
But I will say that when I meet with the county, that is something that is very important to them as well, because the county, all counties will take a huge hit on that, especially if you did it all at one time. It's the counties, it's the school district, so everybody has their folks working down in Columbia to try to figure out what's
And
going
do I
on.
remember around a $700,000 loss for us? Okay.
Once it's fully phased in.
Once it's
Once
phased in.
it's- okay.
So it's a huge number. I know that, like we talked about, folks are getting their tax bills, and so, what happens a lot of times is that we wanna look at this top right corner here, and we look at the base tax over on the left, and they see that red looking number, and they say, all my money goes to school taxes.
Yep.
But that's the tax base prior to Act 388. So if you look over to the right side, it says amount due. That's the portion in red of your taxes that actually go to the school district in what they're paying. So when you look at your tax bill, you have the first part here, which is countywide, those are your county taxes. Come down to the second part, and it says your school taxes. If you look at the base tax, the number is large. On the example that we're using, it's $3,930. But if you look at the credits, it's $3,800. So the amount that's due on this particular home for school debt, because that's all you're paying, is $247. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that and sees that, because you guys get the questions on this. Most of the time, they don't come to me asking the questions on this. You get those questions. I think I have one more.
I love those questions.
Yeah,
You get
one more
pre-
thing, and this is really, it's the same thing that we just were showing you, I just blew it up. So this is coming off, you can see it just came straight off of that. Tax base, county versus county, school versus school, special versus special. So this particular tax base was $5,600, the actual amount due was slightly over $2,000. School district received 11.9% of that, county received 76.2% of that, and the special districts is 11.9. Again, we're not trying to say anything, so again, that's just a recap there. However, we understand when the total millage is put onto vehicles, businesses, second homes, RVs, that when you do that, Anderson County Operations only has 26% of the tax bill. Anderson Operations has 65, debt has 4.7, and the school, I'm sorry, not the school, Special County Operations has 4.37. So it kind of flops. If it's on your residential homes, the county gets the most, school districts and special gets very little. On your vehicles, Anderson County doesn't get a lot, your school district operations and debt gets most of it, and your special operations. So, on your residential property taxes, 88.1% goes to Anderson County between special, Tri-County, fire, and Anderson 5 has 11.9. On all the others, Anderson County gets 30%, we get 69.51. So, we acknowledge that we have a large portion of the tax bill on vehicles, RVs, second homes, businesses. We acknowledge that. We're no, again, our millage is less than everybody else's, so these numbers in every other district is higher for the school district and less for the county. Because just due to millage versus total. Because Anderson County is Anderson County, whether you're in Anderson 1, 2, 3, 4. So the only thing that's changing is your school stuff. And then, we did get the 2025 tax bill. When I did this, we didn't have the charts at the top to show that as well. But same taxpayer. Last year, the tax base was $65.55. This year, it's $65.31. What's exempt from schools was the same amount because the school exempt tax, our millage did not change, so the exemption did not change. The fees from Anderson County, this is not school district 5 fees, this is Anderson County included solid waste fees. They went up $5, but the tax bill actually went down, and the reason it went down was due to the decrease in the school debt number of 2 mills that we showed. So, Yes, hey, we'll take whatever we can get. I am proud that I think that this board and Dr. Kelly really put an emphasis on trying to be fiscally responsible so we can keep this millage low. However, there are needs of the district. There may be times that we can't keep it as low as it is, but again, that will be the decision of the board to determine that. But I did want to share this with you because I know that sometimes, again, this time of year is when we really, really get the question on this right here. I got my tax bill and everything in red goes to the school district. Why do y'all ever need money? No. Actually, what goes to the school district is this red on the right, and that is only for bonds. We can't use that to pay teachers or anything else. That is all set by the county auditor on how much we need to pay the bonds that we have. So really, nothing that they get on their home property taxes, which is the only place you see this chart. I don't believe this chart's on your vehicles. It's not.
They need to take it off.
Miss Hurd.
Yes, sir.
And you explained to me a while back that we're getting toward the second half or latter half of the sales tax. If it doesn't renew, taxes are the bond debt's going up because 20% is going to reduce that bond debt, so it's going to cause. I know vote's going to cause taxes to go up in a roundabout way.
Without, I talked to the county treasurer and auditor, and I just, as I was preparing all of this, I wanted, in case a question came, I said, what is our millage going to look like when sales tax ends if we don't add a dime? If we don't do a bond referendum, if we don't add 8% money, if we just stay right where we are, we spend our sales tax money as far as it'll go, and we don't do anything else, the day that the sales tax collections ends, what is that going to do to debt millage for Anderson 5? The answer may be different in millage numbers, but the same answer is going to apply to the other 4 districts in Anderson County as well. Ours will go up 9 to 10 mills. So doing not one thing, we're gonna jump up to 21 mills. So that's something that I want, I mean, we've got to
Or it's
be
almost
here.
double.
It's gonna almost double, and you guys didn't do one thing.
Mhm.
There's not gonna be one thing that you did. Now, we may make decisions, and it may, and we may, I know we talked tonight, build a new McCann's, deal with the other schools. Whatever we may do, we kind of are working on a plan, all of us together, with money, that sales tax money, capital money, with those kind of things. We're trying to bring all of that together to make the impact as small as it can be to the taxpayers. But if we don't do anything, it's going up 9 to 10 mills when sales tax ends.
And like all of us ride around Anderson County and everywhere you see, there's homes coming everywhere. And school, it's not overnight fixed for a school system.
And that's what the county will tell you as well. When the county adds homes, they're adding to their tax base. When the school district adds homes, we're not adding to our tax base. We're getting the children and we love them, bring them on. We can educate them and we can make them better citizens. So we want them in our school district when they build the homes here. We just don't get any
money
funding
out of
to
it.
go along with it. We do the same thing with our businesses. We love our businesses that bring in good jobs and help our people, but when we do things in lieu of tax sometimes, it does take money out of the funds that we could operate the school district on. I know that's a catch-22 because we don't want a vacant field, we want people working and having good jobs, but it does take money out of the school system. So I just want us to all be, I wanted you to have copies so you could take this and look at it. It's something that, you might get home tonight or next week, or when you can't sleep and you're like, let me look at that stuff Amy gave me, I'm gonna talk about that. I got to talk to her about that. Please reach out to me because it's something that I worked on and I tried to figure out how to make it where, it's complicated for me. I know you guys have it, but I want to make sure we could give it to you in a format that you could go out and share it if folks asked you. But if I can help you in any way, Dr. Kelly can help you in any way, we will be happy to sit down with you, explain more, give you more, get the county in here, whatever you guys would like, we'll be happy to do that.
Ms. Hurd, that was a good lesson.
Thank you.
And I just want to say for the record, this is part of the story on how families in District 5 are affected because they also pay sales tax, and that's not something that we have a bill in front of us here of how that affects each household. So I understand if we don't renew the sales tax, which was one of my concerns about how I think we need to handle the downtown building correctly so that we don't have a stumbling block to potentially renewing that. But even if our debt millage went up, the sales tax would roll off. So this is a big part of the story, but it's not the whole story on how people in Anderson 5, families in Anderson 5 and households are affected by our taxes.
But the beauty of the sales tax, about 35%, 40% is paid by people who don't even live here. Just like we go to other places, we're paying it for them.
But Mr. Thompson's right, in that property tax bill that he showed you just then, that doesn't help operations. Sales tax doesn't help operations. So that is correct. Neither one of those two things help. Sales tax goes away, property tax bill goes up, sales tax stays, maybe property tax bill can stay about the same. Us adding debt of any way, shape, or form increases the tax bill as well. So it's in a lot of moving pieces, and I just wanted to share it with you so you can share it with anybody that may ask you.
And I assume that's why one's is so much higher, because they've had to been building new schools and all that because of the growth. Yeah, I mean, they'll have a choice.
They've done a couple bond referendums since the sales
And District
tax.
4, same thing, they've had to do that, yeah.
And both the other districts as well have been very open that they are looking at bond referendums as well.
I think everybody's looking at new middle schools.
Middle school is the hot topic, so thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Hurd.
Thank you, Ms. Hurd. That was real clear.
It's not a fun job knowing you have to increase, but you hate spending people's money. But we see the need and we have to have.
Okay. Let's move right along. We're going down to 8, executive session. A, section 347A1, discussion of employment, appointments, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, or release of employees regulated by a public body. 2025-2026 personal recommendations. B, section 347A2, discussion of negotiations incident to propose contractual arrangements, Anderson Institute of Technology restroom construction. C, section 347A4, discussing regarding the development of security personnel or devices. Section 9, action on necessary for items from executive session. A, employment, appointment, compensation, promotion, demotion, discipline, or release of an employee. A, 2526, personal recommendations. Number B, Thompson Turner Construction Contract Amendment, AIT restrooms and construction. Could I get a motion to go into executive meeting?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion, we go into executive session to discuss these items as presented.
Second.
It's been properly second that we would do that, and we would. Oh, I'm ready to go. Now let's vote on it. Okay, so it's approved that we will go into executive